I've been in the danger zone.
Hello, you beautiful bastards, and welcome to episode 17 of the Danger Zone podcast. I am your host, Daniel Kelly, and for this Extreme Rules preview special, I'm joined by Ipswich Dan.
Hello.
And Mr. Ryan Palmer, who is now going to do us some of his raw shit.
I am indeed.
Raw shit, 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 raw shit. Ryan Palmer's raw shit, this is Ryan Palmer's raw shit, this is Ryan Palmer's raw shit, this is Ryan Palmer's raw shit, Ryan Palmer's raw shit.
It's these kind of things which make me hope that no one of any importance listens to our podcast.
I'm pretty sure they don't.
Yeah. All right. Well, first up on Raw, let's talk about what should have been the real main event, and that was John Cena and Team Hell No, who beat The Shield via disqualification in a six-man elimination match.
There you go.
There we go. Match saw Kane eliminated first by disqualification because, 45-year-olds need to be protected in TV matches. Bryan, after, having a spectacular performance, is next eliminated. Then Cena pinned Rollins. Roman Reigns, another big guy, is protected as well by being disqualified for shoving the ref and then spearing Cena. And then Cena almost immediately put Ambrose in the STF, leading to the other Shield members attacking Cena to call the disqualification. Well, from talking about this amongst ourselves before we went on there's probably going to be a little bit of split opinion here. But what did you guys think of the match?
I thought it was an absolutely brilliant match. I thoroughly enjoyed the match. It was the only thing on Raw which I did enjoy, I've got to be said. I know you're now going to tell us that you thought it was terribly booked and that, but I do agree to some extent. But I can see why people are complaining, but I'm not too sure that it's really justified, because the Shield have beaten Cena pretty comprehensively 3 or 4 times, pretty recently as well. And they're not going to beat everybody every match. And I think we should be a little bit grateful that it's taken 6 months and they've had 4 wins over Cena for it to happen.
Yeah. Ipswich Dan?
I thought it was a fun sort of match type to see, a different one we don't normally see on standard TV. I agree with Dan what he said. The booking could have been better, but yeah, I enjoyed the match, I must say. I didn't get too bored during it, and it hooked me, really, so yeah, I enjoyed it.
That's the benchmark of Raw. I didn't get too bored during it.
Well, yeah, like you guys, I thought it was an excellent match. Bryan was just unreal. And he was so good. I mean, it's unbelievable. But then the end is just, that was one of the worst booked things I've seen since the Nexus and how that ended at the SummerSlam match.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, it just reminded me so much of that. I mean, the Shield, I know what you're saying. They have been protected well. They've been booked strong. But this kind of booking is in danger of, completely wiping that off the board. It was absolutely stupid. I actually thought that when it was down to Cena and Ambrose, I thought, they're going to give Ambrose a win here over him. And then to have them lose by disqualification, that's the big thing. They could have at least, interfered behind the referee's back, and they still walk away with their, 3-on-3 streak intact. But they've lost that now to a disqualification. It's just baffling. I can't believe anyone thought that was the way to do it. And how it come when Cena was on his end, something else was on his own. He just went into complete Super Cena mode. Now, I'm not blaming Cena here. It's not really his fault. It's how he's been booked. It's Vince McMahon. He's, people are probably having a go at Cena. It's not Cena's fault. I know people say he has his own sway and he can say not do this, but he's not going to do that. At the end of the day, Vince is supposed to be knowing what's best, and he's just acted like a prick here. And
what would you have done then? Because Cena needed the win to go into his match with Ryback. So how would you have done it?
Well, I don't like this kind of thing, but you could have had Ryback come down and intentionally got him counted out or something like that. I mean, it was I was never in doubt that it was going to be anything but a Shield victory. That's what I'm most annoyed about. That they're kind of, even though no one was pinned or submitted or whatever, and it was only a disqualification loss, that is still a blot now. They can't say they've won every tag match that all three of them are teamed up together for. And that is just the stupidest thing. You had them beat all these guys, and then it's kind of ruined in this manner. It makes no sense. Just because they're going off into singles and tag team action now doesn't mean you take this away from them. This is supposed to be, if they're feuding with other people, you could have this as a kind of, big match to Goat Wars. It keeps the big six-mans alive, because I enjoy them so much, especially with the Shield. And then that's all ruined now, and it's kind of...
I wouldn't go that far. I completely disagree that this match is going to do harm to the run that they've had. I think it's just one TV match that, after Extreme Rules, when they're all standing there with all three belts, probably, it's not really going to be in people's minds. I think, looking back, when they debuted at Survivor Series, if you'd have said, well, they're going to beat Cena 4 times pretty much cleanly, and then eventually they'll lose one on Raw, I think 90% of people would have gone for that, to be honest. I know I would have, anyway.
Yeah. I'm not saying they're ruined. I'm just saying they're risking, tarnishing them with this kind of booking. It just didn't make any sense. It's a TV match. I suppose I've got no problems with, if Cena was the one that finally beat him in a match or something, whatever, I guess. But don't do it in this way. I mean... I suppose they might say, well, they haven't, no one's, beat them, not in a,
no one's pinned them,
yeah. So I suppose there's that, but it doesn't seem needed, because I mean, John Cena's gonna win at Extreme Rules, and I know what you're saying about he needed a win, but WWE don't care about wins. They've made that abundantly clear. They don't make any difference. It's not about that. And that is a massive detriment to them and their programming and things like that. But, yeah, it's just... I think it was the wrong thing to do, and I didn't expect it. That was the main thing. And, especially Ambrose at the end, and Rollins, they got treated like they were nothing, really, in that match at the end. Like, Rollins just got beat easily.
I think that because Rollins got eliminated first, pretty straightforward. I think we've now got a fair indication of who the weakest member of the Shield is in through the eyes of the booking team.
Yeah.
Which is baffling, because
he's the best in-ring man there is, I think.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just...
I do agree with you. I think what you're saying is good, but I would have had them maybe win through interference, like you said, but I'm not too, gutted about it. I can live with it. Yeah. I would have done it slightly differently, but I probably still would have ended up with maybe the face team winning somehow.
Yeah. But I mean, if this was me... Sorry.
No, I'm finished.
So if this were me, I would have had Ambrose just beat Cena. And that would have been, possibly... but I mean, there's so many outs. He's still got his injured leg, and he was just speared by from Reigns. I mean, it wouldn't have even been that big a deal to me. I was expecting it, to be honest. I mean, but that's me talking. I mean, but in WWE land, I don't know why they couldn't have had Ryback cost him or something, and even had Bryan battling him on his own at the end and doing the best he can, but just being overpowered by him, even if he didn't eliminate anyone. I think it would have been a lot more compelling, because the crowd got really behind him when he was being fucking immense in the ring. They were loving it.
Yeah, he sort of had 2 or 3 minutes of complete high octane offense where he was, one move after another, one spot after another, and that's the loudest the crowd were all night, I think.
Yeah,
definitely.
And the commentators were virtually marking out for him. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. That was that little sort of 3-4 minute spell was the highlight of Raw for me.
yeah. Speaking of Brian, I've just now put a link to a promo he did on, I think it was a WWE app exclusive. It's on WWE.com, and it's like a really serious, intense promo he does about saying Matt Striker asked him if this intensity is gonna last, or he's going to take that into Extreme Rules, and he said he's got to be more intense and he's got to be more extreme. He was extreme for 10 years before, and that's how he got to WWE, and that was just a really good promo, so definitely check that out if you can.
Still got to lose, though.
But I was marking out. It makes me think, hopefully, that they're going to do something a bit more with him afterwards. Hopefully that will be the breakup of Team Hell No soon. I'd like to see maybe him turn on Kane after the match or something like that. So that'd be good. Maybe they've put the feelers out about Paul Heyman recruiting someone for like a third member of his to advise, and if that's Brian, I'd be, oh god, Willie's out everywhere. I think.
I think I would like to see Brian pushed as an underdog face, as a technical sort of vicious genius, a little bit like the Benoit character used to be, or not character because he was a vicious bastard, but
yeah.
Yeah, enough about that. But I think an underdog Daniel Bryan with his moveset and his submission sort of, base of his moveset would be really, really... And the crowd are loving it already because he's already the underdog in a way. Yeah. But if he was presented as an underdog that gets the job done occasionally in the big matches,
if they properly got behind him, he would be, like, huge. He's already big,
would be massive, yeah.
He would be one of their top stars popularity-wise. That is out of doubt. I mean, to have the popularity he does have, even with like the general WWE audience, is very impressive, especially with how he's jobbed out to everyone. So
it appealed to adults because we know how good he is, and it also appealed to children because it's mainly his size. I think children can relate to smaller wrestlers like Rey Mysterio, which means automatically through default, because of their size, they're the underdog that the casual fans want to see beat the bigger men.
Yeah, they'll relate to little men with big beards.
There you go. Can I just, before we move on, can I just mention how shit Dean Ambrose's finisher is?
I don't mind it. It grows on me. I didn't like it too much when I first saw it, but
I think a variant of that move is used far too often in WWE. There's 2 or 3 people using a variant of that move.
Not that move. Are you like thinking of like the kind of reverse STO kind of?
Well, it's very similar to Fandango's new finisher. It's basically a reverse version of Miz's finisher. I think.
Well, not really. It's like a headlock driver, isn't it?
Yeah, but it looks similar, doesn't it? From the distance that we see it at, it's not as impactful as I'd like it.
It's not like Fandango, because I mean everyone was using it. Like Shelton Benjamin was using it first as pay dirt, and then like R-Truth was using it as the little Jimmy or whatever, and then they've had it moved around, and that's that kind of move. This is slightly different. He like has him in a headlock and then kind of like falls forward. I mean, the right guy sells it. It's like Matt Taven's finisher in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's basically the same move, isn't it?
Yeah, he kind of Matt Taven like arm trap. It's like an arm capture version, I think, or something like that. But
I don't like it anyway. But that's that's a minor complaint.
It's a move that can be used out of nowhere, which they like a lot. WWE kind of finishers. So. I think he'll make it work. I mean, if the right guy sells it, it looks pretty good. Because I mean, who did he have matches with? He did it to Bryan, I think, and he looked really good. Because if you like impale head first on it, like vertically, it looks pretty good. So
I don't know how long they'll allow that to happen though, because it looks quite vicious, and I'd imagine it's pretty awkward to take that way. But
yeah, well, they must be able to do it. I mean,
definitely.
So, I mean, you look at like on the indies, the like reverse Hurricane Runners people take, and it looks like they're dead after taking something like that. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, after this match did take place, Ryback came to the ring, hit Cena in the injured foot with a steel chair. Yeah. Okay. I'll go on the what closed Raw, which was the Triple H and Brock Lesnar confrontation. They fought in the cage. They was there for a bit, and Triple H gets the better of it and throws Lesnar through the cage door and kind of collides into Heyman, and then that's how it ends basically. Thoughts on this?
I think it's clear now that this will go on last at Extreme Rules.
Really?
Yeah, I think Triple H and Brock will go last, definitely. Don't you agree?
Maybe. I didn't really. I just assumed it'd be Cena and Cena and Ryback because I mean.
Well, I suppose actually thinking about it, Brock winning, which I think he won't really be the happiest ending to end the pay-per-view on. But we'll see. Anyway,
I think to take when Cena's got the title and for him to not be in the main event, I think it's got to be something very, very big. And I don't even Triple H Lesnar, even though it's not very massive in the fans' eyes, but backstage, I'm sure it's seen as a very big deal. I still don't think that'll go on before, but I may be wrong. We'll see.
I thought the final segment was all right, but it didn't really rise above that level. I thought the crowd didn't really give a shit about it, did they?
No.
I like the way that Brock's now going to probably be presented as a beast in the match, and he'll ruin Triple H to send him out of action. And in the build up to the match and the match before at WrestleMania, he's been presented as so weak compared to Triple H. It's unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, he's got the reputation of a UFC, cold-hearted killer virtually. And as soon as he got in the cage and they rolled around for a little while, then he got thrown out and walked off. It's not really what I wanted to see.
No, they have completely missed the boat on a lot of why people went so mad for Lesnar to begin with. I mean, as soon as he started Triple Feud, even the loss didn't harm him as much as how he's been presented with Triple H in this feud. Like lost to Cena. I mean, he was still pretty hot after that, just because how amazing that match was, and he fucked Cena up. But I mean, just being got the better of by Triple H, it does. Even with me, I can feel it. I'm like, I mean, I'm always glad to see Lesnar, but it's like now I know they're not positioning him as someone who can just tear into anyone and get the better of it. It does kind of lose its appeal.
Maybe they'll go back to that after the Triple H match, but is the damage done already?
Exactly. I don't know, it's a weird situation, the Lesnar one. Like, they're doing, obviously, I suppose we'll talk about this more in the coming months and stuff, but I'm not convinced about Rock versus Brock if they do that for WrestleMania 30, just because I think Lesnar's matches only really work if there's some legitimacy to it. And I like Rock's offense is a bit, a lot of it is a bit hokey. Like, I don't really want to see Lesnar have to sell a people's elbow and stuff like that. He just, I don't know. Rock obviously has the size, but I don't know. He hasn't really got. He couldn't.
What finish it would be if Rock hits a people's elbow and he's celebrating, and Brock just no sells it completely. That'd be awesome. But
that's my only thing. Like with Cena, because you could say the same about Cena as well, but I mean, Brock just beat the hell out of him, and it wasn't really a wrestling match, so it worked. Triple H, I don't know, it's kind of a bit, I don't know, he's kind of more old school. Triple H is, he doesn't really use moves that look like kind of hokey like The Rock. I mean, he's quite rooted in the past. He's like throwback more like Arn Anderson and people like that. Whereas it's all believability really. Apart from the sledgehammer, obviously. But yeah, I just don't see it working with The Rock. It's like kind of like having Brock Lesnar versus The Miz, and you expected me to believe it's quite a honest contest. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. They had a great match in 2002, so maybe they'll do it again. But I don't know. With Lesnar, he seems different now. It's not the same. He's like, because of his MMA background now.
I think if he wanted to still be the old Brock Lesnar and do the moves that the old Brock Lesnar used to do to an extent, I think he'd be perfectly good at it. But I think WWE are trying to sort of play to his UFC fan base.
Yeah, I think it's
and
good.
In an extent, it's working because his pay-per-views have had, massive buy rates.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't convinced, but then he had that match with Cena, and I was convinced. So after that, so I think his style definitely works for it. But yeah, anyway, yeah. So I wasn't like you guys said. This segment was okay. I guess it weren't bad, but it was just the same kind of thing. And Lesnar was made to look a bit cowardly and things like that. And it's just whatever. Just it's not. I don't know. It's not selling me on it.
I am looking forward to the match. I must be honest. I think it'll be. They're going to have to do something different. I think that there's a lot of ways they can go with the ending, and I just I hope that Triple H doesn't win. But if they do book Brock to win, there's so many ways it can play out with what Heyman's announcement as a third member, or and there's a lot of ways they can go. So we'll have to see where it goes.
Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit more, I guess. Yeah. And then okay. So opening Raw was the dance off between Jericho and Fandango. I think I went into a coma a few times during this. I've actually watched it twice. I actually watched it live while I was live tweeting, and then I've watched it just before we started as well, just because I couldn't really remember what happened. When Fandango went to dance with Summer Rae, she pretends to get injured, and when Jericho checks on her, Fandango floors him, literally. I think I've nicked that from someone, I apologise. What did you guys think of this?
I do like the way they're now advertising dance-offs, and even the dance-offs aren't being fulfilled. There's complete false advertising. But it's not really made me care anymore for the match at Extreme Rules, but I wasn't really caring for it in the first place, to be honest, because I think with Jericho being off television quite consistently, there's no momentum behind it whatsoever. I think it'll be a better match than their WrestleMania match at Extreme Rules. But back to the segment, I thought it probably maybe would have been a little bit more enjoyable if it didn't open the show.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's just they seem to be like lost it with Fandango. I mean, they had a lot to work with, but it already seems to be over now. Which is bloody. They do well, or have managed to completely ruin any momentum he had coming out of WrestleMania. I mean, now he's just like another guy. It's just
we've seen a different route if the crowds throughout the country would have been a little bit more responsive to him, like the WrestleMania crowd was and the England crowd was. But obviously, they haven't really caught on to the whole Fandango and like the other crowds have. That was very Norfolk. Fandango and what Norfolk accent that is.
It's funny with WWE when Daniel Bryan's Yes thing caught on at WrestleMania and the Raw after, they said, "Oh, it's a fad, it'll go." And then Fandango is something they probably thought, "Yeah, this is going to last a long time." And then just shows you more about their cluelessness.
What did you make of Jericho's promo?
Bit shit.
Oh, did you? I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it a lot more than the dance-off, and I thought,
definitely.
If I was going to care for the match, that would make me care a little bit more. I thought it was quite good.
He's slightly annoying me as a babyface. I mean, I wanted to see him babyface, but when he keeps on saying things like Fandango and I don't know, it's just a bit. Come on, come on, Jericho, you're better than that. I'm surprised he's even being caught dead in something like this. I would have thought he'd known better.
All through his original face run, he was he used pathetic phrases like that, so I'm not too surprised about it.
Not quite Fandango, and I don't know. It was a little less, but maybe when he was a heel in WCW, but not really. He was just trying to be annoying, but I don't know. Anyway, so other notable occurrences on this show saw Jack Swagger beat Big E by countout. Yes. Jack Swagger, who would have been in a world title match and is in the #1 contender match, could not get a pinfall or submission victory over Big E fucking Langston. He is protected. Unbelievable. just fucking angered me. Can't believe it. It just sums up WWE again. They like Big E for some reason, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why. Actually, you just have to look at him and how fucking big he is, but it's pathetic. The funniest thing about all this was the WWE Universe had to vote for either Jack Swagger or Del Rio to face Big E, and they overwhelmingly voted for Jack Swagger, which is hilarious on many levels. But I mean, God, when are they gonna just quit it with bloody? And this is Jack Swagger. He's not over. No one likes him.
No.
Even not in a internet wrestling community kind of way, or internet. Yeah, they don't like him. But then he destroys him in the voting. It's like fucking hell. Just release these two and Big E, that fucker.
You can guarantee that if Ricardo was one of the options, he'd have won that.
Oh God, yeah. Dear me. If it was like an option to who should face Ricardo for the world title, Dolph Ziggler for the title out of those four, it would have been Ricardo. But probably 99% of the vote. Right, we also had Mark Henry interviewed by Josh Matthews. Henry dares Sheamus to come out, which he does. Henry then seems to proposition Sheamus for sexual favours, quote, "Come on down if you feel like some." They then proceeded to whip each other with kinky sex whips. So, there you go.
I told Josh Matthews to put this strap on.
We also had Orton beating Cesaro again, which is just... would be funny if it weren't so soul destroying.
In 3 minutes as well.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Really sure.
I was getting angry at this point when I was live tweeting, but then The Miz returns with another stupid T-shirt that beats Heath Slater. So The Miz is back. I wish he would stay fucking gone, filming movies. Yeah, he instantly gets a pre-show match. I don't know.
King of the pre-show, The Miz.
Yeah. Lastly, I just want to mention the WWE app. Now they are trying to get you to watch the app, and which is just some backstage shit they got going on, during actual matches that are happening live. They want you to not look at the television, their television, so that you can look at your phone and see Big Show being big and fat and talking backstage. I mean, if that doesn't sub WWE up as well, I don't know what does. I mean, that is just... I nearly shat myself when I heard that. I couldn't believe it. To be honest, I thought when they had like WWE, the WWE app, when they had stuff going on during the adverts, I thought that was a brilliant innovation. I thought that's really clever. Keep people, involved. And then they do this. What the fuck is wrong with them? Christ! It's not good enough for them to be watching your show. You want them to be watching something else at the same time and taking their attention away from the fucking television. Idiots! Oh. And that is the end of Ryan's Raw Shit.
Ryan Palmer's Raw Shit, this is Ryan Palmer's Raw Shit, this is Ryan Palmer's Raw Shit, this is Ryan Palmer's Raw Shit, Ryan Palmer's Raw Shit.
Seeing as this is our last show before Extreme Rules on Sunday night, we're now going to bring you a little preview of events and we'll tell you what we think will happen. We're going to start with the WWE title match, which is a last man standing match between Cena and Ryback. What do you reckon, Ryan?
Gotta be John Cena. I mean, it'd be stupid to have him lose the title directly after finally beating The Rock. So I can't see anything but John Cena win here. I might be saying, I'm surprised I'm so adamant that it's going to be him, considering they've got, Ryback. They're, silent straw and magnet. But yeah, I just don't see it. And even in WWE land, I don't think it's going to be right to put the title on Ryback. So yeah, John Cena.
Ipswich Dan, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree with Ryan. This is going to be Stonewall Cena. I mean, Cena hasn't had the title for 2 years, and when he finally gets it from The Rock at the biggest show of the year, only to then go and lose it a month later to Ryback. It just wouldn't make sense, or in the long run and in the short term. So Cena all the way.
I do agree with both of you. I'm a little bit interested to see how they're going to try and cover up the shitness of the match, because they're going to have to completely hammer it up on the gimmick front, I think. So we might see a little innovation of how Cena will win. I hope they just don't use duct tape or something naff.
Yeah.
Right. The match that I think will go on last, but we'll see. Steel cage match: Brock Lesnar and Triple H.
Well, I mean, this has got to be Lesnar. I mean, I know that he's facing Triple H, who doesn't really lose often, or doesn't want to, but he can't win. That just would make no sense. I know WWE doesn't make any sense, but even in their opinions, that Triple H can't win. Brock Lesnar's got to win. He's got to decisively beat Triple H in order to go on to face probably Rock. I mean, I don't even know if he'll have another match before then, so maybe I'll have one more. But yeah, he's got to go over strong here. There can't be no bloody shenanigans or anything. Brock Lesnar has just got to fuck him up.
Dan?
Yeah, I agree. I reckon this will probably be the final match in the feud. It's just gone on for quite a long time. I've enjoyed the feud as a whole. I think the way they've booked Brock Lesnar since Mania, kind of as the underdog sort of thing, kind of shows me that this will be a Brock win. I think it's just going to absolutely destroy Triple H in the cage, and I reckon it'll ride Triple H for several months. So yeah, I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar win.
Yeah, I haven't really got anything to add, but I'm going for Brock as well. Next on my little list, we've got the number one contenders I Quit match, which is Del Rio versus Swagger. That's not the third best match of the evening, but it's third on the list, so that's what we'll go with.
100% Del Rio. His babyface. He's not going to say I quit. They love him, and I mean he'd go on to face Ziggler. They're not going to have Swagger versus Ziggler, I don't think. Oh, I suppose they could actually. He gave him a concussion, so that's a storyline to turn Ziggler face, but they're not going to do that. It's going to be Del Rio because they love him, and the match will just be silence, and no one will care. I don't care. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, I agree. I reckon Del Rio will win it, but I do think in the near future they might play off the Ziggler injury with Swagger. They might have a match or something in the next few weeks, so possibly Swagger could go on to win to then face Ziggler, but yeah, I'm going to go with a Del Rio win purely because, like what Ryan said, he's a face. He's not going to say I quit. Yeah, there you go.
I left you hanging there, Dan. I forgot to introduce you. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm going for Del Rio as well. Next, we have the US title match, which I'm intrigued to see. Kofi Kingston and Dean Ambrose.
Should be a good match. Should be pretty heat as well. So looking forward to this. I think Kofi will do a good job putting Ambrose over. So yeah, new champion Dean Ambrose.
Dan?
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to this match. Both are really well. Obviously, Ambrose is really good, and Kofi's a very solid worker, and he puts on good matches. So I reckon that the match will probably be one of the better matches of the night. I'm going with a new champion as well. I'm really looking forward to it as well. So yeah, Ambrose for this one.
Yeah, for me, Dean Ambrose all the way. I think it could be a sneaky contender for match of the night. And another contender for match of the night will be the tag team title tornado match between Team Hell No, the champions, and Rollins and Reigns from the Shield.
Yeah, I'm going with the Shield for this one, and I think I'm very much looking forward to this. I think this could be great. Brian's promo has really got me going for this match, that he did what I spoke about earlier. So, yeah, definitely. And I can just see it all happen. After the match, Kane has taken the loss. Brian kicks him to the curb. Paul Heyman comes out. And there it is. And Punk is the guy. Brian is the guy that kind of takes Punk's place in a significant role until he comes back later. Oh, that's so good.
My dick's out already.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, that'd be amazing.
Dan.
Please.
Top that, Dan.
I'm not sure I can really top that, but I'm going to agree with Ryan in that the Shield will win. I think this will finally be the match where Kane and Daniel Bryan do lose the titles and do split up. They've been together, 7 or 8 months, and it's a very lengthy run. And the past couple of months, they haven't really done anything too spectacular with each other. I reckon Daniel Bryan will get a big spot in the match, purely because they want to get the crowd going and they'll play him off as the underdog. And I reckon that'll be the big spot in the match, having Daniel Bryan in it for a couple of minutes. And, but other than that, yeah, I reckon Shield will win, and then obviously we'll have the aftermath playoff, probably with Daniel Bryan and Kane splitting up finally. So yeah, I reckon Shield will win and have a triple champion.
Yeah, again, it's a clean sweep. I do like Ryan's idea, but I don't think it's going to happen, I'm afraid.
Don't ruin this for me.
But if that's a good idea, but if something like that did happen, I think we'd have to have like a little transitional period whilst they're, feuding about who took the loss or who was the weaker man, or I don't think they could really logically go straight from I hate the Shield to Kane, it's your fault,
Yeah.
No, we need a little transition. But
yeah,
next up is a match which I know Ryan is so excited for, and it's between Mark Henry and Sheamus in a strap match.
Yeah. Dear me. So I think Mark Henry, I think they're going to position him as a challenger Cena. It maybe the next match, next pay-per-view. No, probably not. It'll be Ryback maybe again. But in the future, I reckon he'll have a WWE title shot against Cena. Not that I want that, or anyone, I don't think. So, yeah, maybe. Or maybe Shane, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this is going to continue as well. So, but gut goes with Henry on this.
Dan?
Yeah, I agree. Henry on this one. Purely because I reckon he can probably use a strap in a match better than Sheamus. But, yeah, that's all I can really say, really. Yeah. Mark Henry.
Fair enough. I'm going to go for Sheamus in this match. I think Sheamus needs a win to boost his standing a little bit. He's lost at 3 pay-per-views running now, if you include the Royal Rumble. He didn't win the Royal Rumble. I think Sheamus needs the win, and I think a good way to get him over as a main eventer again, or not get him over, but boost him back up to the main event scene of someone who can headline, is to beat probably the biggest monster in the company at the minute in Mark Henry, and I think Sheamus will take the win.
Could just come in. It could be that he loses this one and then goes on to win rematches, maybe. But if they carry it on, so you might be right that he'll be the one to get the most out of it. It just might take a little longer, because I reckon there will be more matches between them.
Joy.
Yeah.
Extreme Rules match, which I didn't know that stipulation until I've just read this sheet, and it's a Big Show and Randy Orton. I think that shows how much the match means to me. But anyway,
yeah, this is pretty tough. It could go either way. I'm gonna go with Orton, just for the fact I think it'll even it a bit out more on heels and baby faces win, and this seems to be the least storyline driven feud on the card, so maybe there isn't going to be another match between these two. So I mean, they haven't even really been on television feuding that much. So this is hopefully this won't last long. So yeah, I think Orton maybe, but who knows?
Dan?
Yeah, I agree on that one. I was going to go Big Show, but I was just thinking back to WrestleMania, how the opening match ended with Big Show on top, obviously taking both out. I reckon this will be Orton. Orton tends to do these sort of gimmicky sort of matches quite well. They play off quite well with his old Viper sort of character. So I reckon Orton will grab this win.
Yep, I'm going for Randy Orton as well. I think he'll have a win to set him up for his next feud, which maybe will be the one where he finally turns, hopefully. I don't really see a direction for either of these two men in the feud, and I don't think it'll particularly hurt Big Show taking the loss. And it could go either way, but I'm going to go 60-40 Randy Orton. And the final match advertised on the main card I think there will be another match added there. I've got a sneaky suspicion we might see a Divas match somewhere. Chris Jericho versus Fandango.
I think this is going to be Fandango. May have been Chris Jericho would have won this before WrestleMania, but I think now they're trying to still go with him. Yeah, it's tough to call though. It could easily. We obviously know wins don't matter in WWE, so. I don't know. This is pretty tough actually. It's probably the hardest one to call, but I'm going to just say Fandango.
Dan?
I'll probably agree with Ryan, because I don't know how long Jericho will probably stay again after. I mean, the feud's been so stop-start since, well, before Mania. So Jericho could win it possibly to finish off, but the problem is if Jericho wins it, then logically you'd expect there to be like a winner-take-all third match. So I can't see the feud going on any much longer, so I reckon Fandango will get the second win and then the feud will finish.
I'm going to go for Fandango as well. I think they want to try and build him up to be something, and the only way to do that is to, give him some wins on a consistent basis. So I'm going for Fandango. The final match of the evening on this card is The Miz and Cody Rhodes in a Nobody Cares match on the pre-show.
Yeah, 100% Miz. He'll win in shit and obnoxious style, I'm sure.
Dan?
Yeah, Miz, purely because it's his return match, and he returned, 6 days prior to the pay-per-view, so they're not really doing anything with Cody at the moment, so yeah, Miz.
Yeah, Miz all the way. I think it could potentially be one of Cody's last matches as a heel. I think he's got a face run coming up in the near future. But I think Miz will win the pre-show match. Right, Ipswich Dan, do your bloody news.
Ipswich Dan.
Does some news.
Ipswich Dan.
Does some news.
Ipswich Dan.
Does some news. It's time to hear from
Ipswich Dan.
Ipswich Dan.
Right. Cheers, Dan. Right, and this week we start with World Heavyweight Champion Dolph Ziggler, who suffered a
Dan, just
concussion.
before we start, I promise we're not going to ruin the news this week.
Or you just have.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
Right, I'll start again. And we start with World Heavyweight Champion Dolph Ziggler, who suffered a concussion at last week's SmackDown tapings. He was actually diagnosed with retrograde amnesia. Sounds pretty serious. Well, sounds horrible. Ziggler spoke to WWE.com and said that he couldn't remember travelling home from Raw the previous night, and he couldn't remember travelling to SmackDown that day. And he also mentioned that he was due to meet with his doctors later in the week with regards to Extreme Rules. And obviously, in hindsight now, we know that he has been taken off the Extreme Rules card, and it will just be Alberto Del Rio against Jack Swagger. So pretty serious stuff, really. Pretty horrible stuff with Ziggler.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully he'll be alright soon.
I hope they don't try and base an angle around it.
Yeah.
You know they're going to, though. So, moving on, we go to Antonio Cesaro, who held the US title for 240 days to be beaten by Kofi Kingston a few weeks ago. And now it's been reported that Cesaro's standing in WWE has gone downhill. He's lost his majority of TV matches since losing the title. Reportedly, it's not a result of heat. WWE officials simply feel he lacks personality. And well-placed sources feel that he is boring. So, I'm sure Ryan especially has something to say about this.
Fucking wankers.
Yep, couldn't have put it better myself.
Real shame, really, because it looked like he was going to be pushed possibly, past couple of weeks, but yeah.
And completely untrue. Completely untrue. He has got personality. They just have to look at his vast body of work to be able to see that, but they're fucking idiots.
He's not going to have personality if he's just booked to yodel, and then the next week he's booked to be serious, and then the next week he's booked to lose in 3 minutes. What personality do they want?
Again,
they're not giving him a chance to do anything.
This is WWE. It's like they set him up to fail, and then they say, "Oh, well, he's no good," because they've set him up to fail. It makes no sense.
It's just a result of poor booking, really, past few months. Right, Big Japan Pro Wrestling has announced that Sami Callihan has pulled from a tournament they're hosting later in the month. The promotion noted that it was due to Callihan signing a deal with WWE. And last week it was reported that Callihan was one of several performers undergoing the WWE medical screening. So while Big Japan did note that the change was due to Callihan signing with WWE, neither Callihan or WWE have officially confirmed the news. But I guess another signing for WWE.
Yeah, well,
he's
possibly.
very good, Sami Callihan, and he's something. There's not many people in the wrestling world that are anything like him at the minute. And whilst you were reading that, I just had a thought that what a perfect fit he would be to be Heyman's third guy.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, I doubt they'd bring him in.
No, they won't bring him in straight away. But if they portray him as a psycho, which I think plays that role very well.
Yeah, I don't see him teaming him back up with Dean Ambrose and them going by the dirty, ugly fucks again like they were in the Indies. But he is very good.
Team, the really nice ducks.
Yeah, he has got an unbelievable intensity to him. There's not many like him. He is very good. He is a smaller guy. He might even be a little bit shorter than Brian, to be honest.
He's small. But he's got a marketable look. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's different. And he's very good. So, yeah, hopefully he definitely deserves it. So, if this is true, of course, that'll be great news.
Yeah, very intriguing going forward. Next, we have Japanese legend Kenta Kobashi, who officially retired from wrestling in the past week. Kobashi pinned Yoshinobu Kanemaru with his trademark moonsault in his final match, which took place at the Noah show, which happened at the Nippon Budokan in front of 17,000 fans. So a legend has officially bowed out.
Yeah, one of the best ever. He's definitely just got to see. You can see him on YouTube. Some of his matches with the late great Mitsuhiro Misawa. Unbelievable, and yeah, he'll so broken down these days. But so it's good that he is finally retiring because he's done too much, and he also had cancer at one point, and he actually came back from that. So he is real legend, like you say.
Yeah, one of the greatest. Round of applause for Ipswich Dan for saying all the names right.
Thank you very much. Right, and finally, on a recent episode of Impact Wrestling, Christy Hemme revealed on Twitter that she was legitimately upset with Austin Aries after she messed up the introductions for Aries and Bobby Roode. Aries came to the ring and proceeded to put his crotch in the face of Hemme. Now, several backstage sources have speculated to us that if Rosa Mendes had have been in Hemme's place, she would have removed Aries' trunks and noshed on the length with him. Ipswich Dan's.
Done the news.
Ipswich Dan's.
Done the news.
Ipswich Dan's.
Done the news. It's time to say bye-bye to
Ipswich Dan.
Right, that'll do us for this edition of the Danger Zone podcast. I sincerely thank you for joining us again, and I urge you to subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube, where you'll now find a new show uploaded every Thursday as opposed to Wednesdays, unless we're on the ball and we have it up really late on Wednesday evenings. If you enjoy what we do, please tell all your wrestling friends what we're about and where they can find us. Please make sure to follow our Twitter account, which is @DZPodcast, where we'll be bringing you some live tweeting of the week's wrestling shows as they air in the UK. And that'll mostly be Ryan doing that with his controversial views. Until next week, you've been in the Danger Zone. And remember, Jerry Lawler is an innocent man.
I've been in the danger zone.
I'm not being funny, but if Lawler had lived in this country, he would have been arrested by the Jimmy Savile police with Rolf Harris and Ken Barlow by now.
Well, I heard he was spotted last week making two little boys play with his didgeridoo.
Where'd that come from?